Disappearances and killings happen around the world at a blink's notice. Although most come with a rational explanation of the events that transpired, some are shrouded with more mystery. Today, we take a dive into the unknown and dig deeper into some of these cases that left us with more questions than answers, such as the case in Levelland, Texas in 1957. While there are many sightings across the world of aliens, not all are as unique as the accounts of Levelland, Texas in 1957. What separated these reports from other cases is that the aliens seemed to be tampering with technology. In fact, when witnesses encountered UFOs or noticed them in the area, the technology would shortly start to glitch. Statements of car engines going out and radio signals being cut off were some of the most common incidents at the time. It all seemed to have started when the Soviet Union released the Sputnik Model Two into orbit. Noted as being the second spacecraft launched into orbit, it was the first spacecraft to carry a living creature, a dog named Laika. In fact, within hours of the launch, a UFO wave erupted across the world. Strangely, many of these aircraft seem to be focused in states like Texas and New Mexico. Following that, several citizens in Texas experienced UFOs charging past their vehicle and killing their engines and headlights. Then, both a fire marshal and deputy of Levelland, Texas, witnessed the extraterrestrial activity themselves, seeing the UFOs in the sky, which caused their car motors to die as well. Eyewitness descriptions of the UFOs varied throughout the night from being really extreme to mild. Some observed rocket-soaring UFOs that would shoot across the sky towards their vehicles. Others also saw egg-shaped objects or flashes of light in the sky. The sheriff even had a unique experience of his own. Although skeptic at the time, after he saw what looked like a streak of fire in the sky, he believed there were UFOs present. According to witnesses, the craft sounded like great rushes of wind when they went past. In addition, one witness driving that night exclaimed that a large luminous object blocking the road started to pulse in rhythm with his car headlights. Unfortunately, for those outside when these events occurred, they had quite intense experiences. For example, farmers saw bolts of lightning in the sky, even though storms were not reported that night. They reported car issues and radio disconnection that ranged from seconds to minutes, leaving them in the dark. Also, motorists were blocked from traveling by the large egg objects. Overall, even though these incidents could have caused car accidents and other injuries, there were no reported deaths generated by the events that transpired. On the other hand, even though there were plenty of witnesses the night it happened, many were skeptical of what exactly happened. As stated by Project Blue Book, the UFOs in the sky were actually an electric storm and ball lightning, a storm caused by strong rising air currents that violently disturbs the electrical waves in the atmosphere. While many were satisfied with that explanation and refused to believe that aliens were the root of the chaos, others weren't convinced. In fact, it didn't seem to explain why car engines were experiencing difficulties and dying out. Due to the fact that cars didn't rely heavily on electricity at the time, the statement didn't satisfy everyone. Resultantly, this brought along citizens that defended what witnesses saw that night. For one thing, it wasn't just the general public that was convinced something unordinary was happening. Police officers and other points of authority were also concerned of an extraterrestrial attack. Following that, police officers were persuaded once they saw the egg-shaped objects in the roads that appeared to be extraordinarily big and unworldly. They also saw flashes of blue light in the sky, with no obvious explanation. Secondly, there were plenty of doubts on the illegitimacy of Project Blue Book's explanation of the events. Seeing that there were no thunderstorms reported around the area of the attack, many citizens weren't convinced. Those that lived near the location of the outbreak were especially doubtful of Project Blue Book's explanation. In conclusion, after the release of Sputnik Model Two by the Soviet Union, there was an unexplained wave of strange activity on Earth. Although not exclusively experienced by these states in the US, it was oddly focused on Texas and the New Mexico area. Numerous people believed it was extraterrestrial. With random flashes of light, weird sightings in the sky, and glitches in technology, many were frightened of the night's events. Although skeptics supposedly suspected that electric storms and ball lightning were the root of the cause, that did not solve everyone's suspicions. What do you believe? Was it all just one intense storm, or was it a retaliation against the human race by an intergalactic force? Do you think these creatures were angry about the launch of Sputnik Model 2? Hey guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. I'm curious about what y'all think, so please let me know in the comments below. Also, if you'd like to see my next upload, feel free to turn post notifications on so you won't miss the next video. Have a good night, and hope there aren't any storms in your area tonight.